Hello and welcome back to another episode of Frosthaven on Solo +3 Insane difficulty. It is finally the weekend and I finally have a bit of time to play Frosthaven again. As usual, in this video we'll go through the Outpost phase after our last scenario, 14. We're now back in the town of Frosthaven. Let's start with the Outpost phase. Another week, 2 more, and we will be in winter. When you get winter, as you can imagine, things changes a bit drastically in the Outpost. We are likely to have more difficult events, and we are likely to face more attacks. But for now, we're still in the summer, so let's enjoy it while we can. And we have a new section book to read. So this is 41.3. So let's get out on our foreteller. Oh, the interface changed on foreteller. Interesting. Okay. In any case, 41.3. Let's read it together.
One of the prisoners you invited to stay in your longhouse surprises you one afternoon.
I just wanted to say thanks for, not executing us. I can't say I'm happy to be up here in Frosthaven, but maybe I needed a fresh start.
He looks anywhere around the room but at you, clearly embarrassed to be saying this aloud.
Anyway, I scraped together a bit of money over the last few weeks. Honest money, and I'll be moving out. Figured I should repay you for a bit of your kindness. It's not much, but here. Anyway, yeah, thanks.
Well, I think I'm happy to be up here in Frosthaven, but I'll take the gold nonetheless. I think we'll be very likely spending the gold right away, so let's just put all the gold here. And yeah, well, a good deed goes rewarded in this case. Perfect. Next step is our outpost event, so let's do one together. 52. Oh, I think this is the event we just unlocked in the last scenario. 52. Yeah, it is. Perfect.
You rush to the docks in response to the alarm bells and find a massive shell washed up on the icy shore. Slowly, a head wider than the guard tower emerges. It is a giant sea turtle, beached on the land. It opens its mouth and addresses Frosthaven with a slow drawl.
Hello, city. I apologize for intruding. When I last came through here, it looked very different. I knew you when you were just ice. Or perhaps time has not been kind on my eyes.
The turtle's eyes are nearly glazed over in a white film. It looks blind, or close to it. Children playing on the docks laugh at the silliness of the creature. A young girl shouts, "Did you get stuck, Mr. Turtle?"
Oh, how youthful you sound, city. You must be quite new to this world. I do appear stuck. Any chance for a push?
Option A. Rally the guard and give a push. Option B. This creature is on its last legs. It could be put to better use supplying the town with meat and armor.
What monster would slaughter this turtle for meat and armor? We'll clearly take option A here, although that young girl's voice sounds a bit creepy to me. But let's rally the guard.
A. The town guard puts their backs into it and heaves the massive sea turtle back into the water.
Oh my, thank you, City. Such a polite young city. I will be sure to tell my friends.
Oh, so very nice, Mr. Turtle. I think Mr. Turtle counts as a name for the purpose of team building, right? It makes sense to me. Different outpost phase, read a person's name. Yeah, I think feels like Mr. Turtle is a name, so let's count that as a name. 2 morale. We'll certainly take those, especially ahead of the start of winter. Good. Next one's building operations. Here we spend the 6 gold and we'll get some items. Let's spend that collective gold we just got. Again, I don't think it makes too much difference here, so let's just do 1 hide there. Maybe we drop a wood here. Maybe a metal. Maybe put a metal here. Okay. Now is downtime. This is what I'm really back in the outpost for, so that we can see Blinkblades level 5. So first thing first, let's get HP up to 14, plus the cloak makes it 15. We can also equip our third small items now that we're level 5. For perks, I think we will just continue to get rid of our -1s, and I think then I'll start to drop some perk points into some of these other stuff. But yeah, let's get rid of the last possible -1 that we could get rid of, which is this one here. There is a very strong argument to start to take out, to think about maybe getting rid of our Amulet of Life soon. The heal one that combos with our Power Leak is just not as powerful as it could be now, especially with getting some stronger attacks into the deck. Okay, so perk down, HP down, so yeah, let's look at the cards. I will certainly be taking a level 5 cards here. Now, these 2 cards are actually both are very strong. So Breakneck Speed is the critical piece if you want to play Explosive Blinkblade, and I do enjoy that playstyle. The top half says on the start of the next 4 rounds, during which you're not performing a long rest, you take 2 damage, you play 3 cards instead of 2. So super powerful. Bottom half is just as good. Teleport 5, you're never gonna say no to that. And the initiative is great at 3 or 33. Flashing Flurry is typically attack 3. I say typically attack 3. It's not guaranteed, of course, to generate elements out of any of our guys, and Dark is typically used by Deathwalker. Although most of the time the monsters will actually generate something. So even though this is typically attack 3, sometimes you can bank on it for it to be attack 4. The downside of Flashing Flurry is you never really want to play this card slow, unless you're playing the slow blade build to mitigate the -1 damage. But on fast, it provides a very critical attack for Blinkblade. So one of Blinkblade's biggest weakness, in my opinion, on higher level difficulties, is the inability to deal with retaliating enemies. This gives Blinkblade his first powerful ranged attack, and it's a very good one. On fast, this becomes extra target, so target 2 at range 3. So this attack, if you manage to get an element out, becomes attack 4, targets 2 at range 3. So in some sense it is basically Power Leak, but in other sense it is much better than Power Leak because of the flexibility that you get for using it as a ranged attack. It does mean things like Heavy Sword and Poison Dagger don't apply to this particular attack, but at the cost of being retaliated, sometimes is 100% worth it. Bottom half is just as good. You get to stun everyone around you, so the idea is you probably play in bottom half on slow. You go into the battle slow, you stun everything, get a whole bunch of time tokens, then you can unleash hell on the following turn without the fear of retaliation. So both of these cards are very, very good, but as I said, on higher difficulties, I really find the top attack to be super, super valuable. So I will be taking Flashing Flurry here. We'll sort out the cards in a second. Let's just pack everything away. I think we're done with leveling up here. Over to Deathwalker. We are now level 5 as well. HP is now 10. And we get a perk too. So I think for perk here, I think I'll actually get our long rest perk now, Rest of this Night. So this is whenever I long rest, I can move a shadow up to 3 hexes, which is pretty good. And now I think let us do our cards. So card wise, again I'll be 100% taking a level 5 cards. Now medium is good, but I actually find it more useful for the bottom half most of the time, just because again I have played the melee build before, but it's not my favorite build on higher difficulties, just because you don't have enough HP really to be involved in melee range at all times, and the initiative on medium, which is literally medium 55, can put you in quite a danger of pairing it with a slow or fast initiative. But the bottom half of medium is super, super useful. The fact that you can move a shadow for 3 hexes every turn is great. I actually find sometimes this card does a whole bunch of unexpected heavy lifting, even in a ranged build. So medium is a very strong contender at level 5. However, if it wasn't for the fact that Dominate is just so good for the range build, Attack 6 is great. Removing a shadow is kind of part and parcel of the game. More importantly, the fact that you can disarm is just fantastic. So very often, even though the bottom half is also very strong, the top half is really what you're here for. So we will be taking Dominate 100% of the time here. Yep, I'll sort out the cards in a second. So that's the level up done. We did do on the masteries, didn't we? So let's get rid of this coin. You might be asking why I have coin. So while I'm playing, why I need to keep track of something, I often use the coin as a tail or head to see if I have achieved the condition or not. Anyway, so just my personal preferences. Downtime, what else? So let's set aside materials for building first before we craft. Unfortunately, there isn't anything exciting we could build now other than building more transportation items, which we currently don't need for any missions. I'll save that for later. I think for now, before this winter sets in, let's start building some walls. So we need 4 wood and 10 gold. So let's use up the rest of that collective gold. So 6 more gold. I think we'll leave Blinkblade's gold where it is, given Blinkblade wants to retire. So let's just take 6 gold out of here. So that's our 10 gold and 4 wood. Oh, you got plenty of wood, so let's take 3 here maybe. And let's take 1 more from here. So that's our 4 wood and 10 gold, and we'll set that aside for building operations later. On to crafting. I actually don't think there are any items I particularly want to craft, but I guess we will take a look before we head out, especially given I have no herbs. Yeah, I mean, I suppose I could get Simple Charm to get rid of the final -1 from Blinkblade's deck. But I think for the next mission, healing is still good. Yeah, the next mission I want to do is mission 5, and it is the mission I'm somewhat scared of, because I have failed that mission before. Because it is a very hard mission. Not 100% sure what the right answer here is. I don't think I want to craft anything. Inspiring Helmet also is a strong contender here, so that, you know, Blinkblade tends to go pretty fast sometimes, and the fact that you can just move everyone for 2 is a pretty useful item. But I think we actually do have enough to do this. Interesting. Maybe I could craft Inspiring Helmet for our Blinkblade here, to instead of Amulet of Life. I think Heal 1 is surprisingly helpful, just because it helps remove things like brittle. But maybe this is better. Ability to move our allies for 2. What else? Yeah, so I think the strong contender is either Simple Charm for our Blinkblade, just to get rid of that -1, so we have a more consistent deck, or Inspiring Helm. For the next scenario, Inspiring Helm is more useful than you think. Yeah, maybe I am convinced to make Inspiring Helm. So that's what, 1 metal to get Crude Helm, sacrifice Crude Helm with 1 metal and hide. So basically 2 metal and 1 hide. We have that. So let's grab Inspiring Helm. Yeah, this is typically a banner item, but I think Blinkblade could certainly use it as well. So let's put that on Blinkblade. Don't think there is anything else in particular I want to get. But yeah, we're not going for these. Again, I prefer Crude Hide armor personally. Let's set this up. Yeah, I think that's really it. Not a very exciting crafting round, but yeah, so be it. There's actually a strong reason to get some melee attacks now onto our Deathwalker melee attacks item, but we just don't have anything worthwhile giving her. Alright, downtime's done, so let's construct, and we set aside the materials for war. Let's build it. So unlike these guys, it looks like on TTS nothing's happened, but what's actually happened is you've repaired a war section as compared to one of these collapse war sections. We now have an actual wall, which provides some defenses when the enemies do eventually attack our outpost. So I think that's all the outpost done. So let us move on to road event first, of course. This is road event 6. Road 6.
You duck into a familiar cave and find row after row of corpse cap growing in the damp ground. The natural silt and dark interior combine to create the perfect environment for an excellent harvest. Whenever you pass this way, you make a point of stopping in. Option A, harvest the corpse cap. Option B, take a few cuttings, but allow it to grow longer.
Right, so I'm pretty sure this event has happened before, and we took B before as well. So let's do B again.
You trim back the less useful mushrooms soaking up nutrients, pocketing just a few corpse cap stems. By the time you next come around, it should be ready for a strong harvest.
Yep, easy peasy. 2 corpse caps, not gonna say no to that. We need herbs, so let's take it. Then we get to shuffle this back. Okay, now we can move on to 5. So 5 is, in my opinion, one of the harder scenarios on higher level difficulties if you do not have a Bone Shaper as your starting class. And I think even with the Bone Shaper, it is actually fairly difficult. Frozen Crypt, it is a 2-pip complexity scenario. The scenario goes is the scenario is complete when all enemies in it are dead, which kind of typically suggests a 1-pip complexity, but we'll see about that. At the end of that round, read section 38.1. And additional scenario effects, and this is what makes this scenario quite devastating on higher difficulty, amongst other things, is that if you are at low levels and you're not yet geared up, you take 2 HP damage, which 2 out of 18 doesn't sound too bad, but 2 out of 10 or 2 out of 12 is pretty devastating. So out of our parties, Drifter can ignore scenario effects, but Bannerspear and Blinkblade can't, so they both take 2. And if you encounter negative roll events, that says like maybe you lose 2 cards or something at the beginning, this combined scenario effect impact is just super devastating. And the rest of the scenario is no walkover either on insane difficulty. But we'll get to see that in a second. Let us firstly read the scenario introduction. So this is scenario 5. Scenario 5, where are you? You're here. Sorry, give me 1 second while I get it up on Foreteller.
The Whitefire wood stands against the frozen waste like grey, unflinching ramparts. The trees have grown tall and wide, bunched densely together to create a defensive line closer knit than a phalanx of Valrath infantry. But this is where the Snow Speaker sent you, so there must be a way in. The entrance, which you find only after an hour's search, sits like a gate in the wood. 2 enormous trees guard either side of a snow-packed trail, and just past the opening is a figure covered in white fur, hunched over, eyes looking back. An Olgox. You lock eyes long enough to take half a breath, and then he turns and runs deeper in. You give chase. The path is trod snow and rock, a road used often, which is just as well. You barrel down it, trees whipping past your periphery, your muscles recharged by the sight of your quarry. However, just as you're certain you've got the Olgox cornered, you turn a corner and find the huge Olgox waiting for you. It's hunched in the middle of the trail, facing you, but its fists are planted firmly in the snow, a smug grin cutting its face. Not good. You charge forward, ready to leap, but before you can take 2 steps, the ground shakes violently. Large fissures erupt in the earth, the trees buck, and like summer-thinned ice, the ground beneath you breaks away. Thankfully, the fall is short, and you land without serious injury. You cough as the dust settles, and find yourself in an open pit deep enough for 4 Olgox to stand on each other's shoulders and not reach the top. Dirt walls rise up on every side, soft, loamy soil that will make the climb back up difficult. As you stand there looking up at the white sky, a noise creeps into your ears. It's a thin, wispy howl, like the wind coming through the walls of a poorly built house. You turn, and ethereal shapes emerge from the dark, cast in a blue, whirling haze. They hover above the floor, their forms shaking in the gloom, and wherever they move, a layer of frost grows thickly across the floor. They are coming closer now, and the air is getting cold.
Yeah, I'm really liking the foreteller narration. It's fantastic. So, loot table, pretty standard. Some herbs to pick up. We do have a treasure here, although that's not super important. We have an altar as well, which sounds ominous. So, what makes this scenario so hard? Well, firstly, these ice wraiths are super unpredictable. By that I mean their behavior is super unpredictable. And on top of that, the elite ones do retaliate for a range 3. So this is not even a, hey, melee characters beware situation. This is a hey, everybody beware situation. They inflict wound, they hit hard, and they have ability to fly, which combined with this room's obstacles makes them very scary enemies. The normal ones have shield and curses. So these two are again super annoying effects. They are also ranged attackers, where these guys are melee attackers. So the fact that this one's hidden here, without jump boots, makes accessing this area incredibly difficult. So all in all, these guys are a terrible bunch, and very often on insane difficulty at lower character levels, you could just fail this scenario from the get-go, because you actually need to clean this up in one rotation in order to have a good chance going to the next room, which is also very difficult. So that's what makes scenario 5 quite scary in my opinion. So what are we going to do here? So let's first start looking at Bannerspear's battle goals. Tormentor, possible. Cleaner, so I think Tormentor is probably the most likely contender, given we can apply poison and disarm. So let's try Tormentor for our Blinkblade here. Let's look at card loadout. So Unbreakable Wall is actually super important, because the other enemy type you fight here are these frozen corpses, which has melee retaliate. So Unbreakable Wall actually provides you a way of hitting them once you're into the next room where these frozen corpses are going to be, presumably. So we'll be keeping that. Boldening Blow. This formation is relatively hard to pull off, given moving around the attacks for the frozen corpses is going to be quite important. But I will not diss the ability to disarm and bless something, so we'll be taking that. Bob is super good, and plus the top of at all costs allows us to heal. I think a regroup, unfortunately we'll have to leave the party here. We'll probably take Tip of the Spear here, both for movement and for the ability to do a pierce attack against all of these shielded enemies. As you can see, frozen corpses are also shielded. Let Them Come is good. This can act as a ranged attack in a pinch. And the Javelin is obviously good. Piercing range attack is great. We'll definitely take Pinning Charge. So that's one of the few ways that we can deal with the corpses later on by just immobilizing them. We will take out Deflecting Maneuver. Don't think that's really important for this scenario. So we then have a choice. Resolve Courage, I think, can also come out actually. Not that important. So I have 2 cards to add to our deck. I think the first one I'll add is Rallying Cry. The Banner and the Disarm ability are both good, potentially, especially in the second room once we're set up to get a Banner out. And I think for the other card, I'll actually take Set for the Charge. The initiative and movement are both important for this scenario. Loadout, I think we'll definitely take the movement boots here. I actually, as much as I like weighted net, I actually think a bit of shielding will go a long way here. So actually I will take this loadout for our team here. Alright, on to Drifter. Executioner, not gonna happen. Assassin, not gonna happen. So Zealot it is. That's probably actually likely going to happen. Alright, card choices. Unbreakable is just not really valuable anymore. I think if we're doing any shielding, we're probably doing Chunk of Flesh instead. So we'll take that out. Breakthrough is definitely a card we need to take here for the Pierce. I think No Remorse can come out. Relentless is a contender. The retaliate damage is not nothing, especially against 2 shielded enemies. So that is definitely a contender here. Although Bloodletting is also very good, so I think I'll probably take Bloodletting. I think we'll take Shockwave. The heal is great. Draining Arrow is good for rewinding tokens, and there's a decent movement. Vile Assault is also good for a bit of self-healing. Fortitude is good. Deadly Shot is good. Continuous Health. Do I want to up Continuous Health here? I think we probably rather have Chunk of Flesh as our tanking card here, because both of these have basically 2 HPs. Crushing Weight is obviously important. I'm really now taking Draining Arrows actually just for the bottom half. So maybe if I want a more consistent rewind, maybe I should take Precision Aim. Because we're going to be facing a lot of enemies here. So I guess the only question is, do I take Continuous Health or do I take Relentless? Relentless represents basically 12 pure damage in this scenario. Versus Continuous Health. Continuous Health allows us to do a whole bunch of healing. Either way, these cards are probably not going to be played until my second rotation. No, Continuous Health is still a range attack though. Maybe I'll keep that. Just for the flexibility, because then Drifter can self-heal, Drifter can do a bit of healing on the other characters. It is very tempting to take Relentless, because in the first rotation I can also play this to move my persistent abilities back. You know what? I think I'll keep Continuous Health. I feel safer with Continuous Health. Alright, down the road. Oh, actually, I 100% need to be taking the Crude Spear here. So let's do that. Yeah, because the second room is going to be the more difficult of the rooms to be dealing with. I think that's fine. Alright, on to Blinkblade, Streamliner, Accountant, or Shirker. I think Shirker might be possible now. We have Flashing Flurry, so let's try Shirker. Just because I don't think Accountant is realistic. We might just find it very difficult to rest optimally in the next room. Streamliner, I often find this scenario goes a long way. So yeah. Okay, of the cards, Power Leak will actually come out because all of the melee enemies gonna have Retaliate, and Power Leak is just not that important here. Plus we've taken out Amulet of Life now. So we'll put Flashing Flurry as our new shiny range attack card. Blurry Jab is still good. Cascading Reaction is still good for the slow move 3. Twin Strike is great for the Pierce, and I think we will take out Drive Recharge here for double time. Double time is not super good in the next room because when we are attacking corpses with Retaliate, double timing on them just is a bit like suicide. But the fact that we can use it in the meantime, I can probably chuck it on a long rest is I think good enough still. So we take double time because in the first room it combines really well with Twin Strike. The other alternative would be to actually take Overdrive. The bottom Overdrive allows you to muddle, and then when you're attacking target enemies that have muddle, you are unaffected by Retaliate. So that's one way of dealing with it, but I find that to be quite a clunky way of dealing with it. I'd much rather just go Flashing Flurry on the fast turns as a way of doing range attacks. So yeah, I think this is fine then. Yep. Okay. Deathwalker. What do we have here? Straggler, Closer, or Pickpocket? Never short rest. I can see that happening. Let's try it. Not sure if we're killing the last enemy. And yeah, Pickpocket, not sure about that either. Alright, cards. Let's take out all the defensive stuff we took from last time. So Shadow Step come out and Deepening Despair come in. I think Rest in Shade is still good. Strength of the Abyss can come out now. And I think we will take Black Barrage here for the ability to move shadows. So Deathwalker will be just hanging out at the back here. Lingering Rot can probably come out. And instead we probably want Forceful Spirit as a way of teleporting to keep up with the party. I actually will take Eclipse here because there is a good chance we might actually run out of Shadow completely in this scenario. So ability to just place 3 back on is great. I think everything else is good. I tend not to like Sunless Apparition because of the retaliate on enemies here. So yeah, I think we're good. Otherwise, oh sorry, I need to take Dominate. Completely forgot. What else should come out? I think these are all good. So maybe I actually take out Anger of the Dead here for Dominate. It sounds counterintuitive since this is our few piercing attacks that we have. But to sacrifice Shadow for Pierce, yeah, probably not gonna happen here. We're gonna be very Crypt for Shadow in this scenario. Loadout, let's take the leather armor. Sorry, here we should be taking that, and we should definitely be taking the spear here. Anything else I want to change? Probably take rough boots here. So yeah, we need all the movement we can get as much as possible here. I think that's fine now. Alright, let's have a look at starting positions. So this scenario is actually set up quite interesting. Well, interesting for me anyway. So the idea is, if you stand here, you could on the very first round be attacked by this because this is ranged, attacked by this because this guy can't actually see into this hex even after a single move. Yeah, you can see they're still clipping. So these two guys will actually focus this guy or this guy, and most likely it's going to be this guy. So if you stand here, you could be taking upwards of 4 attack if the initiative's not correct. So you want whoever's standing here to be the slower person of the party, and that's definitely going to be Drifter, because Drifter will just be setting up on the first round. And then if you have this individual going faster than Drifter, then this guy will actually divert 1 attack around the corner here, because if they swarm, they'll do like this and that, right? So because this is equal distance, this guy will actually go for Banner if Banner's faster. And then the other person will go for Blinkblade if Blinkblade is faster. So the idea is to share the damage across the party that way. So you're not just getting, you're not just getting 4 attacks onto Drifter and just killing Drifter right off the get-go. So there is a little bit of science, I think, to how this room was designed to allow you to split damage 3 ways. If you wanted to. So this will be our starting position. Okay, so I think that's a pretty good time to pause, and we'll come back for the combat portion of the gameplay. Speak soon. Bye.